Good evening. The Labour leader says he'll help create thousands of jobs and boost investment in the heartlands of the Scottish energy sector. Sir Keir Starmer has been on a two-day visit to the North East as he attempts to reassure the oil and gas sector of his future plans. He again backed his stance for no new oil drilling in the North Sea, but confirmed that he thinks a windfall tax on the sector must be short-term. Stephen Brown has more.
Hello. Yeah, nice to see you. Why?
The Labour leader came to the North East with a clear aim in mind: to convince and reassure. Touring St Fergus gas terminal as part of a two-day visit to the region to convince the energy sector he has the policies to match their ambition and reassure the oil industry that he's not against them.
You need a plan, you need to work that through with the leaders in the sector. That's why I've been with them for the last 2 days, working through those plans to ensure that this transition it results in lower bills for people's energy security, but also the next generation of jobs desperately wanted and needed, and there, if we have the ambition, for the taking here in the northeast of Scotland.
Labour have opposed any new drilling in the North Sea, and last night Sir Keir met with industry bosses in Aberdeen, and for some, they feel their message is getting through.
There was a very clear message from the Labour front bench that they don't want to turn off the taps in the North Sea, which was very encouraging to hear, and there was very much a commitment to ongoing dialogue. They know they're going to have to design a very complicated energy strategy to help us make the energy transition, and they have committed to working with industry to do so, and to be fair, that was all that we asked.
Labour say they would invest £2.5 billion to help create new jobs, and that they would support up to 50,000 energy jobs in Scotland by the end of the decade. Campaigners say it's time for the sector now to prove they're serious.
This is an industry that's always talked about how important the role it's going to be that it plays in the transition. And I think this is an opportunity for them to really step up and actually deliver on that rhetoric and on those promises.
Labour's stance is in stark contrast to the Conservatives, who've now called for the annual awarding of new licences. They say it would protect our energy security and reduce our reliance on imports. The SNP are unconvinced by Labour's proposals.
I'm a little bit sceptical in relation to Labour's proposals, and doesn't seem to be a lot of detail behind it, aside from wanting to come north to Scotland to capitalise upon our energy resource for the benefit of others. Now, I would like to ensure that Scotland's resources are used for the benefit of people in Scotland. We are an energy-rich nation, and it's absurd that people live in fuel poverty.
The windfall tax has hung over the oil sector. It's been blamed for the cutting of hundreds of jobs. Would you carry on the windfall tax beyond its sunset clause?
I think that the windfall tax was only ever a windfall tax, in other words, a short-term solution. What I want to see is a long-term solution, which is that transition when it comes to energy. So windfall tax was necessary because of the bills that were going up so fast and the profits that were being made at the time. It's not a long-term solution.
The election is not far away, and energy is a key battleground in the run-up to it. The question is whose plans and policies can win over both voters and the sector.
Well, Stephen is in Aberdeen tonight. Stephen, do you think Sir Keir will have done enough here to convince those in the sector?
For some, perhaps, but I think others will take a bit more convincing. I mean, Sir Keir Starmer has now been Labour leader for more than 3 years. In that time, he has called for a tougher windfall tax, to the end of future oil and gas drilling licences in the North Sea, and rode back on that £28 billion a year of green investment that was previously pledged. It's also his first public visit to the North East. And I think it's fair to say that both privately and publicly, some in the sector have been both worried and nervous about potentially what a future Labour government's energy policy may do to the sector and what it may look like. And it comes, of course, just a few months after the Prime Minister also went to St Fergus, that carbon capture facility site there, but with a different sort of message when it came to the future of oil and gas. This two-day visit by Sir Keir was all about trying to steady the ship, trying to say to the industry that they can trust him when it comes to the future of energy. The question is, do they believe him?
Stephen Brown, thank you.